Hey everybody, it is Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm out here in my hot garage. If you want a thermometer update, it is 95 degrees, so I got to keep the fan on. Sorry about the hum in the background. I'm out here cleaning up a Knights Armament SR-25. So there's the lower receiver, and the upper receiver is right here, and it has a 16-inch barrel, so it's a carbine. And I filmed the range report today, or the garage portion of the range report today. Got all of that edited, sent the video link to D, who owns this, and linked it to the channel, but now I got to get it cleaned up so I can get it back to him, along with the Christensen Arms CA-10. But one of the things I talk about in the video is what this rifle is and what its philosophy of use is. And I wanted to ask you what you think, because I've already filmed the video and I didn't want to have any external influences. But this gun is, I don't know, I guess it wants to be a DMR, but with a 16-inch barrel, I would rather have a 20-inch barrel for long-distance shooting. But if you're going to use it as a fighting carbine, because essentially it's the same size as an AR-15, yeah, the receivers are a little bit bigger, but it's heavier, it's louder, and it has a lot more recoil. So as a CQB weapon, or a defensive carbine, it's not as effective. So what is it trying to be? Is it a compromise? And if you guys own guns like this, what do you guys think the philosophy of use is? What's the purpose? Is it supposed to be a do-all 308? Or would you rather have two dedicated guns for those two applications? Let me know in the comment section below. But since we're talking about Knights Armament out here, I wanted to talk about a little story. I was at a gun store recently. I was at a place called Rifle Gear in the Colony, and I was picking up a couple of parts there, and somebody that came in, I was standing there at the register, just kind of minding my own business, just waiting for the parts to come from the back, and a guy says, "Hey, what's your name?" I said, "I'm Jason." He goes, "You're the guy from the internet, right?" I said, "Yep, that's me." And he was there talking about some retro guns that he's building. I guess he has a Mark 12 Mod 1. And he showed me some pictures. It was real nice. And then he was telling me a story about how he recently picked up a PEC-2 laser sight for like new in the box, or new, I guess it's new old stock, for like $1,200. And which is an amazing deal, because those haven't been made in years, and they're made by a company called L3 Harris, which I guess owns EOTech, or maybe they're separate companies now. I'd have to go look into that. But they used to be together. And they make laser illuminators and night vision goggles, the nods, and all that kind of stuff. And I got to thinking, why in the world do companies and the people that run those companies not take advantage of the oodles of cash that they can make? There are so many people out there that would buy a PEC-2, a modern PEC-2, even if it's not the exact same functions, like put in modern technology, as long as it looked the part. And people putting them on modern rifles, it would work. People doing the retro stuff, it would work. It'd be great. And they could sell them at a huge markup and still make a lot of money, because people will pay $2,000, $3,000 for 30-year-old beat-up PEC-2s because they got to have it to be clone correct and to have it for their guns. But I'm thinking, okay, that probably costs you $200 to make. Why not make them and then sell them on the civilian side for $1,000, right? It's like a 5 times markup. You'd be making a lot of money, but they don't. Knights Armament's the same way. The rails for the Mark 12 Mod 1s, they haven't made in a long time. They're a free float rail. They make a shorter version for carbines, but to add those extra few inches, they don't do it. And those rails are so sought after that people will pay $2,000 or $3,000 for those things in beat up condition. And I'm thinking to myself, Knights Armament is sitting on a gold mine. All they gotta do is turn those out. They have the specs for them, and they're running the machines to make the shorter ones. Just make the longer ones, and they could probably spend $50 in time, labor, and materials, and then sell them for $1,000 and make tons of money. Now, I know what some of you guys are going to say when it comes to like L3 Harris and Knights Armament. Well, they deal so much with government contracts, they don't care. Okay, that's fine, but most companies are in the business of making money, right? You think with all the money that they can make, they could, add a couple of CNC machines and hire 1 or 2 guys and pump them out. They could do that, and that would pay off their investment in no time. and then they'd be making more money going on into the future. Why they don't do it, I don't understand. And they got to be careful when it comes to government contracts, because sometimes it could bite them in the butt. Like Colt. You know, Colt for a long time hedged their entire business model on government contracts. Yeah, they still made 1911s, and yeah, they made, was it the Single Action Army and a few AR-15s, but they're like, we got the government contracts. We don't need to worry about civilians. And all of a sudden, FN underbid them. Or the political landscape changes, and you get these anti-gun politicians that are like, we can't buy from these companies. They're evil. Then what are you going to do? You come back to the civilian market and go, please, please, please buy our stuff. And it's just like, you ignored us for all these years. Why should anybody buy your stuff? Well, Knights Armament can be victim of that too. They can. L3 Harris can be victims of that too. And it's just like, you know, why not throw the civilian side of things a bone from time to time? You guys are very aware that people want these products, these rails, these lasers, or the guns themselves. Why not just make them? And you can mark them up way more than what you're selling on the government side of things. Because a rifle like this probably costs Knights Armament $500 to make. In materials, time, and labor. Okay? That's all it costs them, because they make so many of them and they're set up for it, and they're so proficient at making them. They sell on the civilian side for $4,000, but you know the government contracts that they care so much about, they're probably selling them at $1,500 a rifle. And I'm like, why not just make more and then sell them on the civilian market? Well, then supply and demand takes hold, right? People will still sell or buy $3,000 rifles. Okay, maybe they won't buy the $4,000 rifle, but if this rifle was at $3,000, they'd buy it like that. And they'd sell more of them. It doesn't make any sense to me. Sometimes I don't understand the business models of some companies in the gun world. You know, it doesn't make any sense. And I was curious what you guys thought. Another great company that everybody jokes about, because they say they hate you, is HK. Come on, HK hates you, because they refuse to make the guns that you want or in the configuration that you want. And there's always excuses. Always excuses. Okay, I get it. But I don't know, man. There just seems to be so much money to be made. And sometimes I think it's kind of a concerted effort to not produce these products. I don't know. Would you guys buy them? Would you guys want them? I know that I would. I spend a lot of time and money and effort getting these things. Aimpoint could do the same thing. A lot of people will pay a lot of money for an old M2 because it was used on many rifles, especially people that come out of the military. Like, man, I had an M2 when I was in the military. I'd like to have one. They only offer the M4 now. Okay, well, they go, well, the technology's gotten so much better. Yes, why don't you put modern technology in what looks like an M2? Same thing with the lasers on the PEC-2. You guys make the PEC-15, right, or the civilian version of that. Make the civilian version of the PEC-2. You'd sell out like that. Why? Sometimes I think they figure it out, because I know EOTech is coming out with civilian versions of the military holographic sights and magnifiers. There's a little bit of a delay on those, but they figured that out. Why not make the other products? I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Because all of this in the gun world, because of the political winds of things, can change on a dime. So don't you want to maximize your profits now? Because all it takes is for one politician to change a law and say, well, now gun manufacturers can be sued, and we're going to sue them into out of existence. Well, Knights Armament, poof, gone. Man, make that money now. Make that money now. I know I have no influence over these companies, and no one that works there will ever see this video. But man, do I wish I could somehow convince them to do that. You know, create brand loyalty. Make people love your products even more, because that is exactly what I would do. But anyway, what do you guys think? Would you buy those products? And what do you guys think about the philosophy of use of a SR-25 carbine? Is it a DMR? Is it a fighting carbine? Or is it something in between and a great compromise that might not be good at both? Or is it great at both? Let me know what you guys think. And I'm curious because, as I said, I already made my video and I already stated my opinion. So that should be out in a couple of weeks, and my Patreon should see it in a couple of days. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your weekend. I hope it is a lot cooler there than it is here, and I got to get cleaning this rifle. So thank you again for joining me here in the garage. I love these little afternoon and evening chats with you and creating this content. And based off of the number of people that watch, comment, and push the like button, it's overwhelming. It's actually a lot more than my main channel proportionately. So I get way more interactions on this channel, and it's just me chit-chatting with you on my camera phone. So anyway, that's all I want to talk about tonight. And hopefully we'll have some more stuff to talk about this weekend. So I'll see you in the next video. So as always, thanks for watching.